now that I'm on video, outside of the plane you hear now, well, let's just put it this way. What I meant to say was you can Google planes and gang stalking. But okay, so one is almost directly over to me, and it's now to my left, and here comes the one to my it's to my right now, and here comes the one to the left. Okay, so one to the right, one to the left, and I know. Oh, let's just put it this way: when gang stalking crimes prop up sounds to the right and left of a particular gang stalking victim, what would be the possible motive for that? So I'll discuss that in the upcoming evidence videos and information videos connected to the lawyer video series videos. So right now what I'm going to try and do is just record as much sound as I can possibly get from the environment outside the sounds that I'm making. But you should also know 99% of the time whenever I go live in a video, the sounds that's being non-stop propped up around my environment and surrounding my environment immediately stop. And I got thousands of audio files to prove it. Oh, well, I mean, I got thousands of audio files of sound harassment, and many of the audio files show that reality. You wouldn't believe what I wake up to every day, folks. Oh, God. And you wouldn't believe what I endure all day long. Listen, if the audio of this particular video captures any white noise that you might hear, if it's capturing it, one thing you need to understand about white noise: if any of the sounds are propped up, I'll stop talking. Every environmental sound that you hear in any of my videos, including this one, outside of birds, that I'm not making, Google it to gang stalking, noise harassment. Okay. Now let's assume for a second that the audio of this video, I just took these off, by the way, and that statement's made for a reason. If the audio of this particular camera video is picking up what might appear to be an electrical sound or a white noise type sound, one thing you need to understand about what's reported about gang stalking crimes is that these 6 satanic filth that are hosting this crime are reported to prop up emitters, antennas, transponders, and other things that assist in perpetrating different types of technological crimes that the victim will endure, acoustically, and other types of technological crimes that I'm not going to discuss in this particular video. Now, what's curious about this is that these emitters, okay, can make secondary sounds. Okay, and let me give you a little bit of information. And those secondary sounds can mimic the sound of white noise. Now, let me give you a statement here concerning what I'm aware of, concerning the testimony of a particular gang stalking victim that I'm personally aware of. Let's say if you got a gang stalking victim who's got a non-consensual, just hear me out, a non-consensual cochlear ear implant in them. And most cochlear ear implants are Wi-Fi accessible. Just Google my statements thoroughly. whether it be a bone conduction cochlear ear implant or just a regular cochlear ear implant, or either one, modified or not. If the cochlear ear implant is Wi-Fi accessible, that means then that it can at least interface with a computer, tablet, and or phone, which means then we have an antenna in play on the ear implant itself. So this particular gang stalking victim that I'm personally aware of, hears different sounds in their right ear every day. Now, it's not tinnitus, okay? And the sounds are like scratchy electrical sounds. On rare occasions, echoes concerning their speech, because when you talk, you hear yourself talk. Especially when it comes to certain pronunciations, like when you're pronouncing a word that is got like an S in it, okay? And then other times the victim will hear a sharp tone for up to, let's just say, 7 seconds, okay? Sometimes when these tones are heard, right before the tones are heard, a scratchy sound is heard in the ear, and then that goes immediately silent, and then a tone takes over. And then the white noise or scratchy, the target's hearing several things. So like a white noise sometimes, an electrical sound, on rare occasion echoes concerning speech, and see what else, on occasion a tone. Now, the thing about this is that this particular victim notices that when, and a scratchy tone sometimes too in the environment, they'll hear the scratchy tone in the environment. But here's the tricky thing concerning that. Let's say if the victim is only hearing it in the right ear the majority of the time, and then the victim's right ear is facing, let's just say, west. And then when the victim gets up to go do something, and then the ear then starts to face the direction north, the scratchy tone will be heard in the environment to the north. Same thing concerning east and south. Okay, so what this possibly suggests concerning the information on the internet, me stating what the internet has stated, is that when the perpetrators will prop up emitters and antennas for the sake of ELF broadcasting, which can have multiple motives behind it, one or more motive behind it, is that they need for that right ear to process that scratchy tone or any other tone, like a low bass humming tone that's heard in the environment. So you think about this. Say if when I'm pointing that way, okay? I'm pointing that way. So that, as an example, this would be west, the way I'm pointing. And then the ear would be pointing that way, right? So then you get up and then you do something and you turn. Therefore, then the right ear is facing that way. The scratchy tone in the environment follows the right ear. So therefore, what I mean is that when the ear is facing this way, the scratchy tone will be heard in the environment in that direction. But as soon as you turn and the right ear is now facing that way, the scratchy tone will be heard in the environment from this direction now. And then the same thing when the victim turns that way, right ear, for the right ear's facing that way, and when the right ear is facing this way. So you know what that suggests? That suggests that several emitters or antennas are being placed in the environment to emit the ELF, the sound through the ELF, and that the antenna is interfacing and relaying of the ear implant is interfacing and relaying and being handed over so that the right ear hears it in the direction that the right ear is facing. So in other words, the ear is, no matter what direction the ear is facing, the ear will hear it in the environment in the direction of where that right ear is facing. Now, here's the peculiar thing about this. Say if you got a victim who's been made homeless, and the victim has notated this at several wooded areas, right? And the victim says, I'm hearing a scratchy, sharp tone in the environment, okay? And it seems to be following my right ear, okay? Remember, the ear implant would have an antenna. The emitters have an antenna, okay? All right? And so when the ear changes direction, and it might even go as far as involving a GPS tracker in the right side of the body or the right side of the head. I know this sounds crazy, folks. Just hear me out. Okay? Because there's got to be an explanation for this. Everything has an explanation. Okay? Now, here's the thing about it. So say if the same victim made statements in their tape recorders at several wooded areas, over at least 70 different wooded areas, experiencing it in this way, and then the victim has caught on hundreds of audio files, a white noise sound being constantly in the environment, at other times electrical sounds being in the environment, and then the victim tries to catch the scratchy tone, and most of the time they'll just catch either an electrical sound or a white noise, but then the victim catches the scratchy tone on an audio file, including on days when the scratchy tone got turned up. Okay? Because certain digital tape recorders are reported to be able to pick up, excuse me, please, ELF. If they're in a, it depends on the type of tape recorder, and it depends on the recording speed and the recording mode. Excuse me, please. So, oh, absolutely. Now, trust me, folks, when it comes to this particular victim that I'm aware of, that type of cochlear ear implant, you can't go to Google and type in at Google ultra-thin cochlear ear implant, ultrasound, ultra-thin cochlear ear implant. Bring that up. Now, remember what I said, because I'll let you go, but remember what I said. Every sound you hear in my environment that I'm not making and excluding birds, Google that type of sound to gang stalking. All right. Now, the sounds that had been picked up on this video, and that had been picked up on all prior audio files and all prior videos, including ones that had not been uploaded, they are going to be run through a sound spectrum analyzer app, and then let's just put it to you this way: that can easily be compared to the sound spectrum frequency ranges of each electrode of the ultra-thin ultrasound. It's called this, and I'm gonna let you go. And go to Google and type in at Google ultra-thin ultrasound ultra-thin piezoelectric transducer cochlear implant. Okay, and then when you bring that PDF up, it's a very short PDF, just takes you a second to download it, okay? Literally. And when you bring that up, what you want to do is scroll into it, because I'm going to be showcasing it in some upcoming lawyer series videos. But when you bring that up, what you want to do is scroll down within it until you see the pictures that show the electrode itself, and then it shows you right next to it in a separate picture that's right next to each other, shows you in a separate one the fact that this electrode is placed on the ganglion, which is the cochlear part of the ear, and each channel has a dedicated frequency range. Every sound that a gang stalking victim would hear in their environment who would have something like that in their ears, okay, has a dedicated frequency in decibel. There's no, oh, absolutely. And by the way, non-consensual implantation when it comes to ear implants and gang stalking crimes is being more increasingly reported, but it is widely believed by most very educated victims about this type of implant that it's actually a massively underreported crime, that's occurrence crime, because most victims who have these types of implants in them don't even know it. And it can happen to the victim through many ways, absolutely. Make no mistake about it, folks. So understand and know that you know, this information, you can take it, you can go to Google and you can type in at Google, just go to Google and type in at Google, what is the sound frequency of a landscape work, airplane, helicopter, motorcycle, sirens. I gotta go, folks, because I'm running out of time. Have a good day, everybody.